Hello, today uh, we will learn about input output features in R programming. In our last lectures, whatever we have learned in the R programming, in all the codes, whenever there is some value you need to initialize. Suppose if I ask you print the first five even numbers or first five odd numbers. So generally what we do, we define the value of n at the beginning of the code. Suppose n equals to 5 or n equals to 10. Okay, but instead of doing that, today we'll write some code which will ask you that what is the n you need to provide, but what is your n that you want the output for. Okay, so that is what the input output features. There are different ways. Number one, accessing the keyboard and the monitor. So we will give the input on the screen by our keyboard. Okay, and another thing, we can read the input and we can write our output in some files. We can read from a file and we can write in a file. Okay, so today we'll talk about this one, accessing the keyboard and monitor. Okay, so to do that, we'll use few functions like scan or read line and read lines. Okay, so we'll see the use of these three commands. Basically these are the commands for taking inputs, reading the input. Okay, so for scan, if I simply write here um, input equals to sub inp equals to scan this, then it will ask for the input, and scan is basically designed for some real number input, some numeric number. Okay, something like 1. If you want another input, give enter, then 2. If you want to enter another input and press another enter, then 6. Then if you don't need any other input, just hit enter once again, like here. Okay, so this is the 3. So when you enter here, so it will ask for the fourth input, but if you don't want to give any input at the fourth stage, then just hit enter. So that means the R program will understand that that is the end of my input. So here you have 3 inputs. So if I write INP, see, 1 to 6, so these are the inputs for this INP. That means INP is a numeric vector whose elements are 1 to 6. Okay, fine. So that is one way. Again, if I define n equals to 4, that means I instruct the R program, the R software, so that it will ask for 4 inputs. Okay, suppose 3, 4, 5, 6. See, here it is not asking for input anymore. So when n equals to 4, when it received the input, then that is the end of this input. Okay, that is one. So the scan always take some numeric value. Then read line. Read line basically, so here you can have n equals to suppose 5. Now read line, this is a function which will read whatever you will read, you will write here. So suppose if I write R programming, so it will read this line as a string, and it will give the output this one. So if I want to assign, like when I write this, suppose I can write the subject name equals to read line, then it will ask for the input. Now write R. Note here I am not giving any quote, single quote or double quote, because it is reading the line. So whatever will write here, so it will read as a string. So you don't have to give any single quote or double quote. And in fact, if you write any number also here, then also that will also assumed as a character. So what is subname? Okay. Now if I do, see, then I will write date is April April, today is 27th April 27 2020. Okay, then so this input contains some character, some number, like here the unknown character like comma, but whatever I'll write here, so it will consider as a string. So see, so what I have written here, that is here. Fine. So read line reads only a single line. So whatever I will write here, so everything will be assigned in this variable. Okay. Now if I want to read just like scan, I can scan multiple entries. So if I want to enter it, if I want the input of multiple strings or multiple character entries, then what to do? In that situation, I'll write this read lines command. Okay, something like n equals to 5. So if I write that read lines n equals to 5. Okay, then a b c b c d c d e d e f e f g. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5. So 5 inputs. So each of them are character. So that means if I write this as str equals to this, or if I give 3, suppose first first output is heart, second output programming, and class. Okay, then what is my str? It has 3 outputs, 3 entries, like one is R, programming, and class. Fine. So now we know how to take input like scan, read line, or read line. So this is mainly for numeric, this is for single line, this is for multiple lines. Okay. Okay, one thing I forgot. If I write scan inp equals to scan, then I can give inputs in a single row also, 1 comma 3 comma 4. So first, second, third, it is asking for the fourth input. Okay, so it is asking for the fourth input. Okay, now if I don't want to give any other input, just hit enter. So that means 134. So INP equals to 134. Now somebody can ask whether I can write here comma, like comma 2 comma 3. Is that possible or not? Actually no, because it always search for the numerics. So if there is something like this, so it cannot proceed. So see, scan expected a real number but got 1 comma. So this is the issue. So that's why whenever I write scan, then my inputs are like this. Okay, now we know about this scan read lines and read lines. So this is for input. Now what about output? Generally, we use print command, or if you have something like inp, we can simply do that, or sometimes we write print inp. So basically, for output, you have one function, that is print function. There is another function, that is cat. Okay. For print has some flexibility. In print, inside it can be any object. It can be a matrix, it can be a vector, it can be a scalar, it can be a list, or it can be a data frame. Okay. So if you consider tr equals to head trees 6, comma 6, yes, and then tr equals to this. I can write print tr, so it will show you the data frame. Okay. Now the question is that if you want to write if you want to write something that some string as well as some number, if I want suppose my input is n equals to 5, okay, and I want to write something, enter first n 5 numbers. Okay, if I want, then basically, so this is what the value of the variable. So I can write a 6, but I cannot write this in a simple print command. If you want to write this like this is fine, but this 6, I have already specified this 6, but I cannot write this in a general way, that is using my n. So one thing could be done, that is print, probably you have seen the paste command, paste this comma as dot character, then n comma numbers. So I am pasting three things. This is one string, this is another string. So n was a numeric, so I just make them as character, and then the numbers. So these are the three strings. Okay, so here you can use, so if I put n equals to like 10, and if I write this, so this command is a general command. So if you change n, then this is fine. Now, so this is kind of a little bit complicated. For this, you can use this cat command. Okay, I can write cat you don't have to make this as string, so this is fine. See that? Enter first, this is your the value of n, then numbers. So this is 1, second, third. These are 3 entries, so you can write them. And in fact, it has a good facility that here, whenever you use print, you will see this thing, which is kind of annoying, and you will always see this double quote. So print always returns a string. So kind of this is assigning something. This whole thing just like we give the input of a string. But when you give the cat command, then it will write whatever exactly you need. You don't need to write this double quote or whatever. Okay, so here in the cat, it has the benefit that you can use the string as well as the characters also, a string as well as the numerics. Okay, then let us try. I can write name equals to Mr. X. Okay, then age equals to 45 and age some logical like male, true. So he's male or not. Okay, now let me write cat, then name, comma, I can write age, comma, male. Okay, okay, that means, so whatever the value you have, it is there. Simply I can write cat name, comma, is age, comma, age, comma, years old. Okay, see? So Mr. X is 45 years old. Fine. So for this kind of situations, when you have multiple things that you need to write, then we can use the cat. But cat has a limitation. It cannot print any data frame or list or like that. So let us write some function using these commands. Okay, let me put these as comment. Control Shift C. So here is a function I have written here. So this function, the purpose of the function is read and print name and age of a person, like we have done here. So basically here this function, whenever we'll call this function, it will the function will call, it will ask for input of the person name and his or her age. Okay, let's see. So fun, that is the function name. Then first thing I will use the print. Then let me remove this. So this function first print this one, enter the name of the person. Then it will take the input for name. Then print enter the age of the person, and it will take the input of the age. Okay. Then cat. Cat actually finally writing whatever you need to write. That is, the name is something years old. Okay. So when your function is defined, then we can call it here. So in this situation, we will save this code as a R script. Okay. I can, and if you use the source, see, enter the name of the person. So I will write here John. Okay. Then enter the age of the person, suppose 45. And that is the only one input I need. So I don't want any other input. So hit enter again. So what is my output? John is 45 years old. Okay. Now see here in the scan, it is asking for second input, but for a single person, it should be a single input. So I can write here n equals to 1. Then it will ask, so JOHN enter the age of the person, suppose 45. See, it is not asking for the second input, so I have defined here n equals to 1, and by default read line read only one line, so you don't have to write n equals to 1. Fine. And finally cat, the name is John, then age is here, then age 45, then years old. Okay, fine. Now if I replace this, instead of writing print here, I can write this as cat. So make this as comment, write cat. Then make this as comment, right here cat. Okay, save it, run. Now there is no such double quote. Enter the name of the person, suppose Mr. or Miss Y, then age 35. So Miss Y is 35 years old. Okay. Now now here using this function you can ask for the input. Okay. Now now you know how to take input from the screen. Now if I ask you write a function which will give you the output for first n like odd numbers. Okay, first n odd numbers. Then when previously when we did that, so we defined n equals to 5 or something like that. But here in this situation we are not going to initialize that, so we can ask that in the function or in the code. Fine. So here you have seen some examples, at least one function. Now your task, try for this one. You write a function which will ask for input n and print and print first n odd numbers. Okay, so try this. So basically you have to write some function like print odd numbers equals to function, then so basically here we are not providing any input. Okay, so that's why we are not going to give any argument here. Okay, so now the first thing you will do, n equals to scan n equals to 1. Okay, or you can write this as capital N. So I can write this as capital N. Okay, that means it will ask for, okay, let me make this as comment. So this is the print odd, and I can write here get enter value of capital N. Then so you can use here for loop or while loop, you can use for, you can use while, you can use repeat, and so on. I'm not going to do that, so that is your part, you will do that. So let's see, then you have to write some cat command. So cat the word number or whatever. So your output you will write here, you can use print or you can use cat. Okay, so in the for loop, for each time, or while loop each time, so it will be something like 1, then 3, so 1 by 1, so 1 3 5 like that. So if I do that, then okay, so actually I forgot to call it. I have to call this function print odd. Okay, now run this. So enter the value of n, suppose 5, not here, here. That means up to this part the program is running correctly. And in the next part, that you have to use the for, while or repeat, and then you have to use check the condition whether n or in something odd or even, and print it. Okay, and you know how to do that. Okay, that is your part. Just to try this. I think I know, and I believe that you can do. Okay, so I'll stop it here today. In the next day, we'll talk about this part, how we can read the data from some file, or we can write something, some output of whatever we can write in some particular file. Okay, then we'll do that in the next class. Okay, so try it and let me know if you have any issue or any problem, any confusion. Okay, see you, bye.